So, in America, I've heard a district science supervisor using test results to plan professional development workshops for her teachers. This supervisor sees that in this district, students are scoring better on life science than physical science questions. She uses this as a way of targeting professional development for her teachers. They claim that's formative because they're using assessment to improve education. In California, many teachers do an item-by-item analysis of 5th grade math tests to review their 5th grade curriculum. So what they are, in terms of feedback for each test item, they're given the percentage correct for their students and the statewide average, and they can see whether there are any test questions that are systematically different from what they'd expect given their students' overall performance. I was working with one group of teachers. They saw that their students were doing much less well on items that tested proportional reasoning. They looked at their mathematics textbooks. They saw that the coverage of proportional reasoning was very weak. So they, over the summer, prepared new materials to supplement their textbooks. They claim that's formative assessment because they're using test data to improve the teaching of next year's 5th graders. Some people say, no, that's not formative assessment because the students who were tested did not benefit from that process. It was last year's 5th graders who were tested, but the beneficiaries are next year's 5th graders. I'm saying that's an unduly narrow way to cast the net. I'm not saying this is great. I think I want to call this formative. In the Promise Academies, in the Harlem Children's Zone in Manhattan, this is one of the schools that adopts this kind of whatever it takes approach. It's often called no excuses charter schools. Kids are tested every Friday on what they've learned that week, and kids who fail a Friday test have to come back on Saturday for extra teaching. This is not a punishment. This is wanting every kid to succeed. And if you're not ready for what's going to happen on Monday, we're going to give you extra teaching on Saturday to make sure you are. They call this formative assessment. But we could argue about that, but the important point is they are using assessment information to adjust what happens in classrooms to better meet the students' learning needs. The important point is formative and summative are classifications of inferences arising from assessment outcomes. An assessment, as Lee Cronbach said, is just a procedure for drawing inferences. We give students stuff to do, we look at what they do, we draw conclusions. If the conclusion is this student has mastered this work, that's a summative conclusion. If the conclusion is this student would do well to focus on this in their future learning, that's a formative conclusion.